everyone. So today I am here joining you from Cinnamon Life at a very special event, the launch of Danu's book, Jaffna Boy, Colombo Diva. The crowd trickling here to support Danu is truly heartwarming, and the air is filled with excitement and anticipation. So stick around to find out more.
Thank you for being here today on this very special occasion where we launch a book that has been years in the making. Thought process, heart, soul has all gone into this, and we're all part of this very special movement, this journey that took place, that ended here. Now, before I introduce the author, before we get into what the book's all about, I'd like to introduce some speakers that will read excerpts from Jaffna Boy. So, please welcome Ashok Ferry. Take your seats, gentlemen, ladies. Prashan Divisa, Lilanka Boteju, Shahara Lianage, Ryan Vijayratna, Jonathan Vijayratna, and Ramali Vijayawardena. Gentlemen, ladies, who would like to go first? You can sit, you can stand, you can come over here. What would you prefer? Yes? Take it away.
The 11th generation, the one they prayed for, the one they placed all their hopes in, the one that, for the most part, turned out just as they envisioned. 85% right. 15%, well, let's just call it a remix, shall we? The Inasithambis arrived in Sri Lanka in 1752, a family of healers, scholars, and leaders who dedicated their lives to medicine, not just as a profession, but as a service. For centuries, they weren't just doctors, they were caretakers of a community, people whose hands held more than just surgical instruments. They held faith, history, responsibility. Medicine started as a calling and then became a legacy, turning into the bread and butter that fed generations. But there was one rule, one unshakable commandment: keep the bloodline pure. Keep the name alive. Every generation was carefully curated, meticulously planned. It wasn't just about continuing the family name. It was about sustaining Inasithambi, the Inasithambi Empire, a dynasty built on intellect, power, and a touch of undeniable regal charm. And they got what they wanted. They got the 11th generation. They got him. But here's where the script flips. For 10 generations, the Inasithambis thrived within the boundaries of tradition. They excelled, they conquered, they cemented their place in history. And yet, there's an old belief, legacies begin to fade after the 10th generation. Maybe it's fate. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's just the universe's way of saying, all right, let's shake things up a bit. His father was, in many ways, the grand finale, the best closing act the family could have asked for. He embodied everything they stood for: drive, discipline, respect, and the kind of presence that commanded a room without needing to say a word. The perfect Inasithambi. And then there's him. He carries the bloodline, but he also carries a different story. He was raised with a different perspective, one that's grounded, one that doesn't rely on titles, wealth, or the expectation that respect should be given rather than earned. He grew up knowing the Inasithambi name is powerful, but that power is only as good as the person who wields it. He's not saying it wouldn't be nice to have 10 servants at his beck and call, a never-ending feast of the finest food, or the kind of automatic respect that comes from being an Inasithambi. But there's something liberating about stepping away from the weight of expectation and creating a legacy of his own. Because this generation, his generation, starts its own story. Thank you.
Everyone was given a chapter. These are the parts that resonated with me from the chapter I got. I'm just sharing with y'all. So y'all know there's a lot more in my chapter that y'all need to actually get the book and read. So here goes. Years passed. We moved to Colombo. Life was not just different, it was hard. We lived in a cramped up space, and all I owned was a small basket of clothes, so small that it could barely fit 2 pairs of shoes. That was my entire wardrobe. Yet amidst the struggles, I found joy in little things. I still remember the first time I got my hands on a pair of jeans. I had searched everywhere for one, and finally I found it in what I called the dead man's shop. The salesman himself looked like he had 1 foot in the grave, bald, with 1 lone tooth protruding from the front. A masterpiece of a man, in the creepiest possible way. Why did I call it the dead man's shop? Because he sold second-hand clothes on the pavement. Where did they come from? God knows. How did he get them? God knows. But when I found those jeans, I didn't care. They were mine now. The only problem was there was nowhere to wear them. We only went to St. Lawrence's Church in Vellavatta to school, or occasionally to my aunt's house. So my excitement had to wait until one day my mother asked me to buy 2 pounds of bread. This was my moment. I put on my jeans, carefully folded at the bottom just right, slipped my feet into my shoes, and walked like I was on a runway. Mummy handed me a 500 rupee note. Get the bread and bring the balance, huh? That's all she said. What I didn't know at the time was that this was the only 500 rupees she had left. I slid it into my pocket and walked to Kalunimal's shop, parading my new look, feeling invincible. And then disaster struck. I reached into my pocket. The 500 rupees was gone. At first, I thought I was imagining things. I patted my jeans, checked again. Nothing. My heart stopped. I ran my hand along the inside of the pocket and then felt it. A hole. I couldn't breathe. I turned my back, frantically retracing my steps, scanning the ground, looking for any sign of that fallen note. Nothing. By the time I reached home, I was shaking. Mommy, the 500 rupees, it fell. She stared at me. And then, before I could say another word, She crumbled. She fell to her knees just like that. And then she pushed me away, not in anger, not in frustration, but as if the weight of the moment had hit her so hard, she needed the space to breathe. Then, without a second thought, she grabbed a torch and she ran out the door. She walked desperately, her bare feet hitting the cold ground, the beam of the torch flickering as she scanned every inch of Arethusa Lane. From number 36 to number 42, she searched hopelessly, looking for that single note that meant everything. When she reached Hampden Lane, she fell on her knees, digging through the grass, the dirt, the cracks on the pavement, hoping, praying. I stood behind her, frozen, watching my mother, my strong, dignified mother, crawl on the ground on her hands and knees for 500 rupees. She kept walking all the way to Kalunimal's shop, but deep down, we both knew. It was gone. She turned to me then, her face soaked in tears, her lips trembling. She pulled me close and whispered, "That's all I had for the next few days." And in that moment, something inside me just shattered.
I've had the privilege of working with Danu, watching him bring communities together, from Sinhalese to Tamils to Muslims to Burghers and Malays, from Jaffna to Mathura and places like that. And this chapter is his take on what is peace. Peace, a word so simple, yet something we're still fighting for. Not just the end of a war, not just a signature on a treaty, but the kind of peace that lets you close your eyes at night without fear. The kind that lets you dream freely, love unconditionally, and live without looking over your shoulder. As someone who has seen it all in the North, this might be one of the strongest statements I will ever make. No, that's not true. You make strong statements all the time. Yes, there were two sides to fighting for the land, for victory, for power. But at the end, who suffered? Who bled? Who lost everything? Not the leaders, not the ones making the decisions. It was us, the simple, innocent people who just wanted to live, to work, to laugh, to build a future. We didn't ask for war. We didn't ask to be torn apart. We just wanted to be. When I came to Colombo for the first time and saw the city alive, parties, celebrations, streets glowing with Christmas lights, it felt unreal. Was this the same country? How could one part of the nation be drowning in destruction while another was basking in normalcy? In Jaffna, we had camps overflowing with people who had lost everything. There were families sharing a single toilet, people with missing limbs because they had unknowingly stepped on landmines, and yet life went on elsewhere as if our suffering didn't exist. Both sides, army and the LTT, they all claim to fight for a cause. But what kind of cause destroys its own people? What kind of liberation kills the very lives it claims to free? We were pawns in a game we never chose to play. A battlefield became our home, and war became the only language we knew. I always think of it like a classroom left unattended. Chaos takes over. No rules, no guidance, just an open invitation for destruction. That was our reality. The war didn't just bring guns and bombs. It brought lawlessness, pain, betrayal. It created a space where greed thrived, where lives were currency, where human dignity had no value. And as a Tamil, we had nowhere to run. We were trapped in a war that never truly fought for us. And yet in Colombo, fear was ever present. People were terrified while traveling in a bus, in a train, even at work. Bombs shattered lives in an instant. Buildings collapsed, dreams were destroyed, families torn apart. For what? Who truly benefited? And yet, even now, we speak of it, argue over it, defend it, glorify it. But in reality, we were all victims of a war that never should have been.
Okay, I'm just gonna check. I'm a notorious mumbler that everyone can hear me. Okay, cool, sweet. I'm reading from chapter 15, the Kotahena house. Kotahena wasn't just a place, it was an experience. The ice palm that could make any hot day better, the pan man with his magical glass box of goodies, the donuts, those legendary donuts, oozing with oil and smothered in vanilla icing. Possibly the most delicious health hazard I've ever encountered. The house is no more, and it never belonged to anyone in our family. But somehow, every one of us carries a piece of it. Happy, sad, emotional, whatever the feeling, Kotahena House is a part of us. I still think of that long corridor in the front, perfect for people watching, women clutching their rosaries on their way to the cathedral, nosy neighbors peeking through their windows to say hello, the bakery man pedaling by with his glass box of golden greasy donuts, the corner shop that had everything, the Good Shepherd Convent girls, and more importantly to him, the St. Benedict's College boys. 77 Mayfield Road. Some places fade, but the memories refuse to leave.
Hello. Hi, guys. I've known Danu for a very, very long time, a little too long. And it's amazing to see him finally put his thoughts into this wonderful book. We've shared many a story during all those conversations, late night conversations. So I'm happy to be able to be here and read a chapter. And I have an interesting one, so bear with me. Chapter 10, The Great Cock Ring Escape. Nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared little old me for the fiery baptism that was the movie industry. 1 minute, I was an outsider watching films in awe, dreaming of being a part of the magic. The next, I was smack in the middle of an industry that was messy, nepotistic, and at times deeply questionable. Logic would have told me to run, but no. There I was, wide-eyed and hopelessly unprepared. Let's fast forward to 2009. Picture me, the skinniest I have ever been, barely recognized by anyone, and just dipping my toes into the world of film. My first project was still in its fancy, and I was hungry to make connections, which is how I found myself at an exclusive industry party, the kind where people smile through gritted teeth, name drop aggressively, and pretend to love each other. Enter the media personality. You know, the one, a household name. He didn't just walk in, he floated in. A vision of confidence and questionable decisions. Trailing behind him was a much younger man, stylish, smug, and later introduced to me as a YouTuber. Being the polite, non-drinking, ever so hopeful film industry newbie I made conversation. After all, networking was key, right? The duo seemed friendly enough, and by the end of the evening, they extended an invitation, dinner at their house. Me? At a famous house, or a famous person's house? It felt like an industry rite of passage, like I was finally being let in. I penciled the date, mentally prepared for a night of insightful conversation, home-cooked food, and maybe, just maybe, a bit of career wisdom. The night arrives. Dressed to impress, but not too much, we're keeping it cool. I took my way to what I can only describe as a billionaire's fever dream. The house is enormous, unnecessarily so. Think pharaoh statues, lions, black leather couches, and decor that seemed or screamed, I have money but no concept of restraint. The older host greets me warmly. So far, so good. But something feels off. Where was everyone else? Was I early? Did I misinterpret what dinner meant? I'm led to what can only be described as the entertainment room, or possibly a set from a very dramatic telenovela. My host tells me to make myself comfortable while he gets ready. I nod, smile, and turn my attention to the TV. It takes me 3 seconds to realize what I'm watching. It's an orgy. Not suggestive, not artistic, not ambiguous, a full-blown, oil-drenched, multi-participant extravaganza with many playing on a massive screen. My brain short circuits. Is this a test? A hazy ritual? Did they assume I had signed up for this? Before I can even decide whether to scream or run, my hosts appear. One is wearing nothing but a towel, the other completely unwrapped. This is when I make my second discovery, or disturbing discovery of the night. Something is off. Why does it look like it's been enhanced? Is it injured? Does it need help? And then it hits me. A cock ring. My first encounter with one, and what an introduction it was. I have questions. Does it hurt? Is it a fashion statement? Is this a thing people do on weekdays? Before I can compute anything, the famous one smirks and drops the line that will haunt me forever. Oyata balanna thamai දැම්මේ. Wait for you to see it. I want to pass away. My fight or flight response kicks in. I need to leave, but my feet are frozen. Asa නැද්ද? You don't like it? No, I do not. My eyes betray me again. They dart down. Why is it still making eye contact with me? And then the younger one speaks. I don't do anything alone without the older one. You can start with him and I could join afterwards. We like to have fun together. Excuse me? I'm now officially horrified. My stomach drops. The golden statues around me seem to nod in silent judgment. Tears well up. The famous one chuckles. Andande pa, don't cry. Oh, but I will. Summoning every ounce of strength I had, I find my voice. Gedara yanone. I need to go home. Mercifully, they step aside. I bolt past the statues, past the couches, past the decor that now feels like the set of a horror film. I make it to the gate miraculously. It opens without me needing to call for assistance. I step out onto the road and the world is still there as I left it. The wine bottle never left my hand. And just like that, my grand introduction to the movie industry was complete.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, can you hear me? Okay. So, yes, I've known Danu also for too long, but this is a very moving story. And it's the first time I heard it when he shared the chapter with me, so I'm reading an excerpt from it. The Journey to Freedom. I remember sitting on the floor against the wall, my mother perched at the edge of her seat. He sat in all white, 2 soldiers standing behind him. And then he spoke the words that would haunt me for years. Give me one of them, the boy or the girl. I'll give you the pass. Just like that, a trade, a life for a piece of paper. He wanted me as a child soldier or my sister, who was just the right age to fight. Mommy begged, pleaded, she cried for mercy. And so, they asked my grandmother to write a letter stating that all of the Inasitambi wealth now belonged to them. They thought they had won. Little did they know, we had all the deeds. 4 passes, 2 extra guides, and we left. By evening, we reached the Kilali border. The sun was setting, casting an eerie glow over the land, as if the universe itself knew this journey could go either way, life or death. No guarantees. Before we boarded the boat, the LTT carders ordered us to separate, men on one side, women on the other. At just 7 years old, I was pushed into the men's group. Panic gripped me as I realized I was being torn away from my mother and sister. I screamed, my voice trembling with fear, calling out, "Mommy, Mommy!" But my cries were met with the cold, hard strike of a gun against the back of my head. "Shut up," a voice commanded, silencing me. In that moment, pain was secondary to the terror of being alone. Even though it lasted only minutes, it felt like an eternity. The emptiness of that brief separation swallowed me whole, a fear so deep that even now, the echoes of my own cries still haunt me. We had paid extra for my grandmother, who suffered from chronic arthritis, to be carried in a chair to the boats. The rest of us, Mummy, Akka and I, held hands and walked through the freezing water. The boats were nothing fancy, just wooden benches nailed to the sides. 5 other boats were tied to ours, making a chain of desperate people floating into the unknown. The waves were wild, crashing into us, making the boat lurch and tilt. It felt like the ocean was trying to swallow us whole. Every few seconds, I was convinced the people sitting across from me would be thrown into the darkness. Then, the sound. A scream, sharp and shattering. A mother had dropped her newborn into the sea. It was just a slip, a second of helplessness in the pitch-black water. I remember the sound of her cries, the horror of that moment. She didn't know whether to keep living or to jump after her baby. And then, another disaster. We ran out of fuel. Stuck in the middle of the ocean, 5 boats tied together, full of screaming, crying people. By 4 a.m., we had to reach the other side. If we didn't, we'd get caught in the Navy's crossfire. There was an understanding between the LTT and the military, an unspoken rule, but there was no rule for those of us caught in between. We begged the boatman to turn back, but he refused. His pride kept him floating, and his caste kept him from asking another boatman for fuel. So we sat, stranded. Hope came in the form of another boat. We screamed, pleaded, begged them to take us back, and they did. We crawled out, lying flat on the wet sand, exhausted, shivering. But our escape had failed. The news traveled fast. Our boats had drowned and we were presumed dead. Thamil Selvan heard. The next day, he came back, making sure we got onto the first boat this time. No more delays. I cried, screamed, begged Mommy, war or no war, bombs or no bombs, I'm not getting back on that boat. But she didn't listen. She gave me a tiny sip of fenugreek water And before I knew it, I was asleep, rocked by the waves. We reached Kilinochchi. From there, we had to walk through a jungle. No valuables with us, just Mummy's handbag, which carried a few gold pieces wrapped in a white hanky, an umbrella, and some essentials, Dada's photo albums, and which only Mummy wanted to carry. And Alan. Alan was my big teddy bear, a gift from London. He was my pillow, my comfort, my everything. We traveled by bus, then tractor, through landmine-prone areas. At the final checkpoint, the tigers did one last check. Now, we were crossing to the army's side. We walked, no stopping. They told us if we did, they would shoot. When we reached the army, they knew who we were. They asked about Dada. They wanted to know if he had been assassinated. Mummy, fluent in Sinhala, talked our way through. After days of exhaustion, we finally reached Vaunia. My sister had had enough. Mummy, we are leaving to Colombo tonight. And so, we went to the train station, packed our luggage, and boarded. As we pulled away, I thought I had lost Mummy. Panic set in, but then, there she was, holding my hand. And we were free.
Cool. I'm just going to get right into it. And then, of course, there was my father, Dada the feeder. He had an unwavering philosophy. Nobody leaves my house hungry. His signature dish, kulial, a gigantic ball of rice, made by mixing every leftover curry and vegetable in sight. He'd shaped it into a perfect sphere, plop it into our palms, and hand us a crispy papadum to scoop it up. Dada wasn't just generous with food, he was generous with love. Once, when we were in Jaffna town, heading to the Ayurveda college where he worked, I asked him for something. Without hesitation, he bought it for me and said something I'll never forget. I earn so I can keep you happy. That was him. A man who would eat overripe bananas so we could have the fresh ones. A man who made sure our home was always filled with food. A man who found joy in feeding people. My maternal grandmother was the same. Despite suffering from constant stomach aches, she cooked every meal for her 5 children with so much love. When I close my eyes, I can still smell those kitchens. I can hear the laughter, the clatter of pots and pans, the sizzling of onions in hot oil. Food wasn't just food, it was a love language, a cultural connection, a bond that tied us all together. The flavors of Jaffna still dance on my tongue, each bite carrying the warmth, joy, and chaos of my childhood. Our family was simple, but we were blessed, not just with good food, but with the kind of cooks who could turn every meal into a masterpiece.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause for our readers. You may take your seats. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Folks, the moment we've been waiting for. Danu and I also go way back to our days on the rugby field. I'm joking, neither of us played rugby, although I think he should have. But we did break a lot of hearts on stage, didn't we, Danu? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the author of Jaffna Boy, Colombo Diva, Danu.
Thank you, Dom. I watch rugby not for the game, for the players. I've even told this to the New Zealand ambassador who got me involved on work, but I had a pleasurable sight, let's put it that way. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so very much for being here. While these were being read, I went back in time and I didn't want to look at my sister because then we'll both cry. So it's better I stayed away. So, number one, this book worked because, you know, I always think that I'm a little bit extra than I should be. I thought of the fact that I need to write a book long time ago. And I still remember going to Amina Hussain and telling her, I need to write a book. I was like, oh my God, they're going to be like, she's like, do you have anything? No, it's all in my head. That didn't go down so well. She was like, yeah, but maybe a draft will be nice. Then I came back and I was just like, you know, putting that into work was hard. Then I thought about it a few times. Then the next person I spoke to was, you know, Kumar De Silva, who has eaten a dictionary by accident. And when he spoke to me, he was like, oh, you know, I take my time to write. You have to take your time and I'll help you. Anyway, I knew that he was not going to sit and write for me. He does it for like people like Airangani Seda Singer, not me. So that was gone. Then I went to lower names, like my cousin's girlfriend. She was the smartest person I knew at that time. She was absolutely great. She got a fool's call and she flew off. Anyway, she was so kind. Amaya, I don't know whether you're here. That time, girlfriend, not anymore. Came, sat with me at my office at that time, Light FM. She tried to help me out a little bit. And it was nice because I had all these things in my head, but putting them onto paper was really hard. Because I used to write a column, I still write a column for the Daily Mirror, thank you to my boss who is here as well. Long years ago when he asked me, I didn't know how to read the word column. I was like, who the hell spelled column as the way they spell it? Column? So I replied to him, haha. Because at that time, people who wrote were just old. And I didn't know that young people can get a column, and I was 23. And then he said, don't worry, we have editors. And believe it or not, those editors are in rehab. I promise you all what I wrote was just, I couldn't read what I have written because I forgot what I wrote. And they were like, what did you write? I'm like, So sometimes she'll write the whole damn thing again, and I will still get the credit, but I think I have improved now a little bit. I have to also tell you this story. Shevan Daniel, I worked for him at MTV, and that poor soul told me, don't write emails like you're writing a text message. Hi, I want, can you get approved? He said, make it nice and fancy. So, you know, I thought there's a right click and you get alternative words. I wrote the whole email with alternative words. I'm happy he kept me at work after that. Then I called my sister and she told me, as per the telecon, she used all her Citibank words on me and I felt a bit intelligent. I still use those because, you know, it's fancy. Those days, Google didn't predict any crap. You had to type everything. Then from there, I went to my first shadow writer. I thought I need to get a shadow writer. When shadow writers ask for money, it's very expensive. Then I thought, what if the book doesn't sell? It's just a cost. And the shadow writer was also not so keen. Like, you know, like, I will tell one story while I'm telling the other story. I want to get into another story. So she said, shut up. So I just countered that whole Rajagiri trip was no use. Then I went to shadow writer number 2. Too artistic. That person just took like an year to write one chapter. And I was like, what in the world? So I'm like writing and sending things. And every time I try to tell her it's Inna Sitambi, she's like, what now? So it was too much for her. And she was also going through this whole crisis of coming out and going in. And it was just too much. And I was like, I can't deal with your drama when my book is full of dramas. Then I went to my third writer, shadow writer. She's actually here. She tried to help me, but then I was just too busy with other things, trying to look beautiful, trying to lose weight. But then I had this moment in life. Now, in the meantime, I've written like 10 to 12 chapters. Some sounded really bad. Some looked like, it was just a tragedy. So I realized writing on a laptop keyboard was the last thing I'm good at because I don't use it so often. It's only for the intellect. So I went on to an SMS keyboard. It was so easy. I can type with my eyes closed. I thought this is the way to go forward. That was one discovery. The second was I realized, these Apple phones, you can talk and they type it for you. Then I was like, hold on, I can actually talk and it'll type and it'll sound like what I wrote. And I can use my own things and it'll make sense. So it was more like a dialogue. I used to just speak and sometimes like, hello phone, how are you? And I would just tell my stories. And it worked. So in this whole process, I have now written a few chapters. And of course, I never bothered to put a comma, full stop, none of those. Actually, I don't know the purpose behind all of this. If you're smart enough, you stop where you have to stop and read. If you can't, then too bad, why are you reading? So then I moved on to my last. I met, now before all of this, when I had just sketched like my first 5 chapters, I met 2 wonderful people from the publishers of the book. And they just said, we'll be happy to publish it. I was like, my God, I have a publisher and I don't have a book. I was like, this is amazing. This is how I wanted to feel. Like the want is there, but the product is not there. So I had to now put the product into the market. Then I had somehow written, did I use a little bit of, AI at times? Yeah, because we have to use it. It's bloody there. And also, did they give it to like 5 other people to read this? They did. Because they were like, Danu, you have forgotten a few things, like commas. Yeah. And also, I didn't like them like making the letters straight. And I was like, can we have it this way? Can we have it that way? Eventually, they understood the book. And I was so happy. We were going to stick to 35 chapters, but then 35, I was inspired. Every time I drive, I think of things, and I'm like, oh my God, this person did this terrible thing to me. Let's add that as well. Then I'm like, oh, I saw another extra today. Oh, let's write that as well. I was like, oh my God, let me just go on putting all of these, and there you go. I wrote 45. Then I came up with one more chapter, and I just wrote it down like that. If you do go to the last chapter, it says, one more chapter. Because, when we are Sri Lankans, when we are about to leave the house, we always say, yeah, one more thing. So it's one of those one more thing that I wrote. Telling you the honest truth, I'm not a great person to write. I just can't write. But I always knew I can tell a story. But I wanted to find a way to tell this story because I can't sit everyone down and tell this story to people. So I wrote it in the way I can. Is it perfect? Far from it. But is it something that you all will understand? Yes. So, in middle of all of this, one of the reasons why I wanted Ashok Ferry to read here, he is the first person who inspired me to read a full book. Because he writes like how people talk, and he's witty, he's funny. Because all those books that can be like a door stopper, I don't know why people buy it. And also, why can't they break it and send it as 3 books? They write one fat book and they expect us to read it. When I bought this house of mine, I wanted to make sure that I looked intellect and I had all these books kept. Even like Michelle Obama has just sat by the bed for so long that it has faded. Telling you the honest, because there's sunlight that comes in and I don't touch the book, but it looks intellect. Like, oh, you read Michelle Obama? Oh, you read Gandhi? Yes. You can always chat GPT it and say, tell me a line from Gandhi. So it's great. I'm super happy about that. So we don't need to exactly act smart. Now you're made to look smart. So that's what I did. So for those who might want to about this book, please, I have said it already. Don't bother saying that bugger can't write, man. I know his English standard. He's some Tamil, no? Already those Colombo hogs have started. So I'm giving them the real reason now. Want to about the book? Go ahead, darling. I've about my own book. I would like to say a big thank you to all the ones who took their time to read here. Some reason behind the fact that they read so beautifully. Lilanka Boteju, who I've known for so long, and she uses even her normal, like I will say I want to go to the toilet, or I want to go to the loo. She'll be like, oh, I'm just going to the lavatory. It's just let loose this evening. So she always uses the right words, and she's so articulated. So I needed to have Lilanka Boteju. She's somebody who I think deserves to be in media. I try to drag her every day. She has such a nice voice. I told her if it's not this, just be one of those sex phone call workers. Like, Hello. Calling me late tonight today. She's actually that good. Shehara and I have been friends for so long. It's so long that it's annoying. Like, Shay is my most dialed night phone calls. Like, it's not romantic at all. We just talk about everything, how my bubble movements was, did I have like a prune coming out, and all of these. Shay and I have shared the most deepest, darkest secrets. Sometimes it's so deep, it's literally the pit hole. Shay is a very dear person in my life, and she has been with me, and she made it to the book. Just one line. She made it. Then I have Prashant Divisor. You know, some people who end up doing so many things and you don't understand why they're doing it? That's Prashant. I met him by accident because my boss didn't want to meet him, thought he's some young, overachieving boy who is coming to speak about some Rotary project, but it was far from it. He wanted to do his part to make Sri Lanka better. And I think his journey will continue and will go to great heights. And Prashant reads really well. But he doesn't say any bad words. Like, you know, you feel like you're a sinner talking to Prashant. So because of that, I wanted someone with some sanity to sit here. So that's why Prashant came about. I actually genuinely wanted Ryan and Johnny to read, because Ryan and Johnny are two very special people in my life. They gave me more than what I could ever imagine. They understood my madness. They have photographed with me. We have done videos. We have stayed in hotels. We have laughed. We have cried. They are two who should have been born with me, but they are born somewhere else. But I'm so happy I met them. They are literally like two very special people. Although I don't get to speak to them always, but they'll always make sure they have my back. So thank you, guys. And have I missed anyone? Yeah, of course, I had to ask that question. I told her not to dress up too much today because, you know, she always looks good. Even when she says, I just came from London, I put on, Dan, I put on. She had to just wear red and steal my thunder. That is Ramali. She is also my everyday phone call. It was in 2009 is when I spoke to them frequently, but in 2010, I still remember she giving me a call the day after Mommy got diagnosed. And she just spoke to me about something I've not told her. And she asked me what, and they said, Mommy, they're not giving a proper answer about this whole colonoscopy that we wanted to do. And Mommy asked me a question, so what is wrong with me? And I just couldn't. Akka was the one who was looking after Mommy, and I just came out and I was crying. And she spoke to me that day. Ever since that day, she has called me every single day. If she has not called me, that's because she's traveling, like she's on a flight. Apart from that, she'll call me. If not, I'll call her. So it's one of those. So thanks, Ramo. You have been there, always. Now that's done. Oh, God, a lot of people to thank. Now I come to the book part of it. So I told you I got a publisher even before it all started. If you're wondering who has dressed me, it's Olive Couture. I don't know how to say it. Kumar, please don't shoot me from where you are. Oh, can't even say croissant in front of him. It has a way to pronounce it. Sanglipan is better. So Sammani, who runs Olive Couture, is the one who dressed me today. She's a wonderful, dear friend to me. And when I was telling her, you know, I'm writing this book, you know, that 5 chapters that I was in, she said, oh my God, my husband's cousin, you know, they run a publishing house. That evening I went to see them and they were so warm. They fed me, they were so kind. I think that whole family is kind. There's nobody who has like speak about them. And they all just said, of course we'll publish a book. Ane, they have just gone, like y'all are getting complimentary things. You know, the bag is complimentary. And y'all even get like a bookmark, complimentary. And it's for everyone. Like, it's complimentary. They printed that. Amazing, right? And I wanted like the false cover because Priyanka Chopra's book had one. And they got me that as well. Who the hell is Priyanka? So, Sammani, thank you for introducing me to the very special Dharni and Dinushi. A big round of applause to them. We have met many times at Cinnamon Grand Coffee Stop and spoken about this book. So thank you so very much. Then to the Samyavardhana printers, you all have just gone beyond in making this book a reality. There might be some errors, just that's my fault. And I would like to say a big thank you to Cinnamon Life, to Padmi and to the whole team here. You all have been so kind to welcome me into your hotel, give me this space. I would really advise you to go check out GATS this evening because that's where the party is. After you're done with the book, just go drink, eat. Don't expect too much here, just pay for your own thing there. That's at GATS. I would also like to say a big thank you to my partners. Now, these people came forward to support me because, I don't have like a sugar daddy still or like a tree that grows money. And nobody left like a big lump for me. Maybe it's left somewhere. It's just lump of not money. So I would like to say a big thank you to Shero. She never even hesitated. She's like, yes, I'll do it. She flew down today and I had like digital screens and all in mind. She's like, screw that. Let me just think of a 8-feet book. So there you go. Somebody can buy this as well. And she made all of this possible. So Shero and her team who have lost some weight because of me, thank you so very much. I'm ever so grateful for doing this and for making it feel as special as it is for me, for you. Thank you. I don't know whether that made sense. Aroma Bliss Salon, they're always there to support me. Thank you so very much. Big thank you to my friend from school who runs Sarvanaj Jewelers. He wanted to help out as well. Crystal Luxury Wellness. Even if I sneeze, Crystal is there. So Shani and the whole team, Auntie Ramani, thank you so very much. You're always there to support me. Adisha from XXL, making fat people look beautiful. Big thank you to 181, that is the chairs that you see here, and also Kavindu and his wife who has been so kind to support me through this. House of Max, they are a talent agency. I think they signed me up, but they have not done anything with me still because I don't know what happened there. But in terms of what they have done, they've created big hit songs that are trending if you all listen to local music. They are definitely talented, and also Dias Kenangi that comes from them. So big thank you to him and his whole team. Vikramarachi Opticians, because I need to see everyone. Now I just, wait, hold on. Done, now quickly I'm done. Yeah, I told the story, right. Now I come to the last part. Can I please have a big round of applause for my sister? You hate them, you love them, but you are stuck with them for good. That's my sister. That's what she tells me. But anyway, she's always there for me. Big thank you to the place I work. If you have not watched it, y'all are missing out on some good entertainment. Hi TV. That was also a place for y'all to just acknowledge and clap. Most of y'all have been on these shows. Thank you to Sujan and to Ramali for always giving me the support and always being there, not only for me, for anyone who wants to do something more than what we do at work. There's always support, so thank you so very much. My friends from World Vision, thank you so very much for signing me up as a Goodwill Ambassador. I'm so grateful to be a part of the mission, the work that you guys do. Friends, family, haters, thank you so very much. To the ambassadors who took the time to be here, thank you so very much. I never knew, I will have ambassadors coming for my event. Please, when I was getting onto that boat, I barely knew whether I'll even come here. So I'm ever so grateful. And also, I had one guest who actually flew down for this, okay? I felt really special. And she has got food poisoned. Technically, she came for me. So she's not here, though. Anyway, I have to go and see her. Then I have two of my friends who have come from Aussie. Thank you so very much. Not for me. They came on a trip, but it happened at the same time. I did say thank you to my team at Cinnamon Life and also to my friends at Cinnamon Grand because they are my Kamal, and to the team. You all have been amazing as well. Thank you so very much. Now, I would like to just give 3 books out. The rest I would like to give everyone, but I think they spent a lot in printing it, so I've decided to just stick to 3. The rest can buy. Okay? I would like to do that properly. So the first book, I would like to give it to Mummy. She's here as a photograph. Today is also my mum's birthday. And that's the reason why we wanted to have it on the 20th of May. She was a Vesak baby. And I'm super happy that I'm able to do this and keep mummy's name going. She was a lot more than a mother to us. She gave us so much with nothing in her hands. When she passed, she had nothing but love and regret that she was leaving so soon without staying with us. But she's always special to me and Akka, and we always love her. So I don't think I should jump off this. So the first book is for Mummy. So that's for her. And my second book, I would like to give it to my other mummy, my sister. Sorry. And the final book, I would like to, this is Mummy's book. Sorry, I forgot. A final book, I would like to call upon Ramali and Sujan to come forward. You bought a book already. Gift this. For being so supportive always and for being kind. I know Sujan must be dying inside because he hates any of this, but had to do it. On that note, I would like to say thank you so very much for accepting my invitation and for being here. I'm ever so humbled, grateful for the opportunities that have come my way in my life, to the friends, to the family I have made on the way, and to the opportunities I've had. Thank you for your time. Let's eat, drink, and have a good night. Thank you.
So I am here with Sammani Patiranagama. Sammani, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm really happy, and mostly like I'm happy for Dano, like super proud of him. Like, you know, I'm so glad that he finished this book. Like, he had been telling me about this. Like, so like glad that it's there. Like, you know, pretty excited. Like, I'm like quite nervous for him. Like, yeah.
Well, excited is right. So on that note, why should our viewers read Jaffna Boy, Colombo Diva?
I think most of y'all know his story a bit, but I think this has a good insight into his life, and I would call it a celebration of his life and journey, like, you know, how he came to Colombo, like, you know, and like, you know, how much he has achieved, like, you know, he's a proper diva because I had been dressing him for like years now, like probably almost 9 years, so he's a proper diva, but like this has a collection of his stories, like he has very interesting stories to tell, so he's a good storyteller, so yeah, I'm pretty sure like this book will sell out fast, so yeah.
So I am here with Ryan and Jonathan Vijayratna. How are you guys feeling this evening?
Good. It's been super happy to be here. Yeah, really happy to be here.
I would have to agree with you on that. So, what is your fondest memory with Dano?
I think it would be when we took a train together during COVID to Jaffna, and it was supposed to be the express train. And we made sure that it was an express train, and then we got on the train and checked to call the person, and we're like, yes, it is an express train. And then 14 hours later, we arrived in Jaffna. Because someone got...
It's meant to be like a 6 hour, 5 hour.
Yeah, and we hadn't prepped for it, so we didn't bring any food. We were like, it's early morning, we'll be fine, we'll be there by midday. But yeah, so then...
First class also.
It was first class, it was third class. We're sitting in the back, no food, no water. It was COVID, so there was no tuck shop on the thing. Yeah, that's just one. And then we were with Jaffna, in Jaffna with him for about 10 days. When I visited all these family houses and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, kind of got the book experience basically.
First-hand experience. They've seen it first. Okay. So my next question and my final question to you would be, having known Danu for a considerable amount of time, how do you feel seeing him up on this stage today launching his book?
I'm honestly super proud, and the fact that today is their mother's birthday also is very fitting. Because, as long as we've known Danu, the day doesn't go by where he doesn't talk about his mom, talk about stories about his mom. And I guess this book is not just a story of his life, but also about his family. And I think it's like a homage to his mom also. So, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And so with that, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this evening. And I hope you enjoy your night. With Madam Rosie Senanayaka. Madam, how are you feeling this evening?
Senanayaka. I am so happy today and happy for Danu because I've been waiting for this book. I knew that he was writing a book. I have known Danu for a very long time. I would say we go back about 20 years. We also did a morning show on Sirasa. So that's how long ago that I have known Danu for. He was very young, just getting into the media, and we've been friends ever since. And he's like a son to me. Yeah.
Wonderful. So my first question to you would be, having known Danu for such a long time, how do you feel seeing him up on the stage today launching his book?
This is something that I was expecting, and it is something that I think Danu should have done long ago. But finally it's out, and this book is fantastic from the chapters that were read. It resonates his life, the hardships that he's gone through. It's very moving. It's such a moving story about what we as people of this country went through for 3 decades. And it's such a moving story. At the same time, Danu is what you see is what you get. He's unapologetically, I would say, very frank, and that's what I love about him. So for me, somebody being sincere, open, truthful, which is very rare, I would say, today in society. He is who he is. He is also very warm, very empathetic, very entertaining, and very, I would say, intelligent. And his book is fantastic, even though he was apologizing for his writing skills, also about his English. To me, he's fantastic. He's a fantastic human being, and he has a great future. And there is a lot more. I think his capacity to deliver, I don't think we have seen even 50% of what he could do. So I'm hoping that in the future that he would evolve into such a great entertainer, media person, and give more to society, because his program on Hi TV alone is something that people wait for every Sunday to watch. It is entertaining. It is about people's lifestyles. You get to know new people who are in different industries. So it's fantastic, yeah.
am here with Miss Priyanthi Seniviratna Vendort. Miss Priyanthi, how are you feeling this evening?
So emotional.
I would have to agree. So my first question to you would be, how exactly did you meet Danu?
I met Danu on the corridors of St. Peter's College, to be precise, near the science lab and the back of the college hall. I was going for choir practice. And his mom, Jovita, was searching for me. And then she said, yeah, Priyanthi, I've been looking for you. I want to meet you. I want to ask you something. This is my son. And Danu was holding on to her sari, the sari potter. You know, small fellow, so cute, chubby, in a pair of blue shorts and white shirt, yes. And he was like kind of peeping, you know, hiding behind her. And then she said, I would like you to please, is it possible for you to take him into the college choir to sing? So I went down and I asked him, Danu, okay, sing me a song, just few lines, because there is no piano there to play. Just sing something. And he sang a few lines. I said, yes, he can sing. Okay, he's been the... So she said, thank you so much. Please take care of him, because I would like to send him for elocution, but at the moment it's not possible. So I said, yes, certainly. And that was where we met many years ago.
So I am here with Kamal Muna Singha, the area director of the Cinnamon Hotels Colombo. Kamal, how are you feeling this evening?
Great evening. Thank you, Jenna.
So my first question to you would be, having worked with Danu, what about him has left a lasting impression on you?
You know, I met Danu for the first time when I returned to Sri Lanka in 2009, being away for almost 20 years. I met this young guy, and that was first time I'm coming back and working in Sri Lanka. And you know, he was like all over the show, because I know he was just starting, but I think the way that he presents himself, the way he talks, and the way the comments that he comes out with, you know, I think that's what it is, you know. And then I left Sri Lanka after 2 years. I've been away in and out, but we kept in touch, you know. And I think that first meeting with Danu when I was back in Sri Lanka in 2009, and the way that he presented himself, the way that he, you know, talks about things and how he thinks about, you know, his perspective of things, you know, I think kept a lasting memory of him, yeah?
Amazing. He's certainly unforgettable.
Tell me about that.
So my final question to you would be, why should people read Jaffna Boy, Colombo Diva?
You know what, I was listening to the some of the chapters when I came. I was a little bit late, but you know, I think it's a very interesting story. Somebody who is coming from, you know, a war-devastated area in Sri Lanka, in our own country, you know, coming to Colombo without anything and making it to the top. You know, it's not easy. Colombo is not an easy place. I'm telling you that. I know. I'm coming from a village background too. I know how hard it is to make it in Colombo, but to get to where he is today and listening to his story, I think it'll inspire a lot of people to do a lot of things in the future. And it's a very inspirational chapters that I heard, and I'm sure I'm going to read the book. I bought it, so I'll get a lot of inspiration from this book, I think, yeah.
I have to agree with you on that. And on that note, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this evening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Daniel. And another thing, you know, I think he made Hi TV where it is today, right? I've been working with Hi TV for a very long time now, since I've been back again in 2020. He has made his house at Cinnamon Grand to do all his Danu on Fire shows. So I'm very glad that he's there, because he brings a lot of humor and a lot of character to the place. So thank you. Thank you for
Sure does. Thank you so much.
the opportunity.
So I am here with some of Danu's oldest friends from school. How are you all doing this evening?
Great. Really, really great.
We are happy. Actually, Danu is who he is thanks to us. Because we are the people he met and we are the ones who formed him to where he is. Yeah. So we are happy. We done a good job.
We knew him before he was famous. Before like anybody
created Danu, so we are actually happy with Danu. Yeah,
he
for
was a high soprano in the college choir, so we've known him since then.
I mean, I could have sung a little bit, but yeah, Danu was much better.
No.
Right. So, my first question to you all would be, having known Danu for a considerable amount of time, how do you feel seeing him up on the stage today, launching his book?
We never knew he could read or write. Yeah, we are really surprised. Actually, we are, because some of us still can't read or write. And knowing Danu, it was a surprise. And we are really surprised and we are happy. We are really happy. We are like,
Eric is a little jealous because Danu has become what Eric always wanted to be.
No, I don't. We are just happy for Danu. To be honest, we are really happy for him.
We just want to say, like, really proud of what Danu has become. We have seen him from this age, singing with us. He's a great singer if no one knew, but when he was in the choir, the Descans part was the best, right?
Soprano. He was one of the best sopranos that St. Peter's has had. So, it's great to see him up here doing his thing, writing a book, being so inspirational. It's been a long journey and we are so proud of him. But Eric, I know you want it a little bit.
But to be honest, Danu worked quite hard to get where he is, and he was a very nice person because we've always been picked on him. We've been playing. I mean, he's much younger to us, but he worked a lot hard to get where he is, and we are very proud as Peterites and as close friends. We're very, very proud of him, and we look up to him as well.
And I must say that a lot of it that we didn't know his background, right? You can understand, like, when you're in school, you really don't know what others are going through. This book has enlightened us to what Danu has actually gone through while being with us. He just mingled with us. Like, we would think, like, when you're small, everyone is coming from the same background. But he has had much a rough and an upbringing that none of us knew. So for him to achieve what he has today is really inspiring. And what he has achieved is, I think, no one else could have achieved with the same upbringing. So it's great.
I am here with actress Dinara Punchiheva. Dinara, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm good, thank you. It was a lovely evening and I'm glad to be here today.
So, my first question to you would be, what about Danu inspires you and what about him do you admire deeply?
Honestly, I love that Danu is a person who just says what he feels. What you see is what you get, and I think that's an incredible trait to have, in your personality. And I think behind this big personality of him, he's also a very sensitive person. And you can see even in his book, there's so much that he's gone through, and I think, we'll all get a chance to read it, and I'm excited to, have a glimpse into what he has been through, his life, and just so proud of where he's today.
I have to agree with you on that. My next question to you would be, if you were to pick a song that perfectly describes Danu's personality, what song would you pick?
I think there are so many, but I think right now it's probably Have You Ever Seen the Rain, maybe? Yeah.
I am here with Tanya Varnakulasuriya. Tanya, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling fantastic. It's so lovely to be here and see all these people, and of course, Danu done an amazing job.
Yes, I agree. So my question to you would be, you have obviously known Danu for a considerable amount of time. How do you feel seeing him up here on this stage today, launching his own book?
I think it's amazing. I mean, the stories. He's a great raconteur. He is a consummate storyteller, and we know that from TV, we know that from radio. We hear everything, even when he's doing an ad, he's fantastic. He puts a story, he weaves stories effortlessly into things. So for him to do a book, I think, about time.
Agreed. So I also want to know, what was your reaction when he told you that he was going to write this book?
So I think my reaction was about time. I had years ago done a podcast with Danu, and in that podcast he told a lot of the stories that are in the book, and some of them are beautifully moving. Some of them are hilariously funny, but he writes them and he says them with that funny, beautiful way that is him. You can hear him saying the words in the book, and I think that's wonderful. And so yes, long time coming, but I'm glad it's here.
I agree. It's so authentically him. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this evening, and I hope you enjoy your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
I am truly at a loss for words for the level of authenticity and vulnerability that has gone into creating this book. We offer our heartiest congratulations to Danu, and we highly recommend this book to all of our viewers. So go grab your copy right now. I'm Danelle, and thank you so much for watching.